RTXs, that's what they're here for. There is going to be one 15-minute intermission. There's no smoking in the Bishop Center or anywhere on the West School campus. And if you have friends or loved ones you'd like to see after the show, feel free to meet them in the outer lobby. Offer for your safety, the stage, backstage, or for show personnel only. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
I have come to the conclusion that one useless man is called a disgrace, and that two are called a law firm, and that three or more become a Congress. And by God, have I had this Congress. For 10 years, King George and his parliaments have gold, cullied, and diddled these colonies with their illegal taxes. Stamp Acts, Townsend Acts, Sugar Acts, Tea Acts. And when we dared stand up to them, like men, they stopped our trade, seized our ships, blockaded our ports, burned our towns, and spilled our blood. And still, this Congress won't grant any of my proposals on independence, even so much as the courtesy of open debate. Good God! What the hell are they waiting for? Sit down, John. Sit down, John. For God's sakes, John, sit down. Sit down, John. Sit down, John. For God's sakes, John, sit down. Not to open up a window. It's 90 degrees. Have mercy, John, please. It's hot as hell in Philadelphia. Not to open up a window. I say vote yes. Vote yes. Vote for independency. Someone ought to open up a window. I say vote yes. Sit down, John. Vote for independency. Someone ought to open up a window. No, no, too many flies. Too many flies. But it's hot as hell in Philadelphia. Open up a window. Can we compromise here? Vote yes. No, too many flies here. Vote yes. Oh, for God's sakes, John, sit down. God! Consider yourselves fortunate that you have John Adams to abuse, for no sane man would tolerate it. On your board, we've heard this before. Now, for God's sakes, John, sit down. I say vote yes. No. Vote yes. No. Vote for independency. So let him open up a window. I say vote yes. Sit down, John. Vote for independency. Will someone shut that man up? Never! Never! Dear God, for one solid year they have been sitting here, a whole year, doing nothing. I do believe you've laid a curse on North America, a curse that we here now rehearse in Philadelphia. A second flood, a simple famine, plagues of locusts everywhere, or a cataclysmic earthquake, I'd accept with some despair. But no, you sent us Congress. Good God, sir, was that fair? I say this with humility in Philadelphia, we're your responsibility in Philadelphia. If you don't want to see us hanging from some far-off British hill, if you don't want the voice of independency forever stilled, then God, sir, get thee to it, for Congress never will. You see, we piddle, twiddle, and resolve. Not one damn thing do we solve. Piddle, twiddle, and resolve. Nothing's ever solved in Philadelphia. fetid, fuming, foggy, filthy Philadelphia. Oh, would you shut up?
I now call the Congress's attention to the petition of Mr. Melchior Mang, who claims $20 compensation for his dead mule. It seems that the animal was employed transporting luggage in the service of Congress.
Well, then the question is, then of the occasion, if the mule expired after carrying while unloading, then the beast must have killed itself.
Good God! They may sit here for years and years in Philadelphia. These indecisive grenadiers of Philadelphia. They can't agree on what is right or wrong, or what is good or bad. I'm convinced the only purpose this Congress ever had was to gather here specifically to drive John Adams mad. You see, we piddle, twiddle, and resolve. Not one damn thing do we solve. Piddle, twiddle, and resolve. Nothing's ever solved in foul, fetid, fuming, foggy, filthy Philadelphia.
John, is that you everyone? John!
Oh, Abigail, I have such a desire to knock heads together.
I know, my dearest, I know. But that's because you make everything so complicated. It's all quite simple, really. Just tell the Congress to declare independency. Then sign your name, get out of there, and hurry home to me. Our children all have dysentery. Little Tom is turning blue. Little Abby has the measles, and I'm coming down with flu. They say we may get smallpox.
Madam, what else is new? Abigail, in my last letter, I asked you to organize the ladies to make saltpeter for gunpowder. Have you done as I asked?
No, John, I have not.
Why have you not?
Because you neglected to tell us how saltpeter is made.
With sodium nitrate and potassium chloride, of course.
Oh yes, of course.
So will it be done, madam?
I'm afraid we have more urgent problems, John.
More urgent?
There's one thing every woman's missed in Massachusetts Bay. Don't smirk at me, you egotist. Pay heed to what I say. We've come from Framingham to Boston, and we cannot find a pin. Don't you know there's a war on, says each tradesman with a grin. Well, we will not make saltpeter until you send us pins.
Pins, madam. Saltpeter.
Pins.
Saltpeter.
Pins.
Saltpeter.
Pins.
Saltpeter.
Pins.
Peter.
Pins.
Peter.
Pins.
Peter.
Pins.
Peter.
Pins.
Done, madam. Done.
Done, John. Hurry home, John.
Oh, as soon as I'm able.
Don't stop writing. It's all I have.
Every day, my dearest friend.
Till then.
Till then, I am
As I ever was, and ever shall be. Yours, 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 yours.
Saltpeter. where in hell were you when I needed you?
Right here, John, being preserved for posterity. Do you like it?
It stinks.
As ever, the soul of tact.
The man's no Botticelli.
The subject's no Venus.
Franklin, you heard what I suffered in there?
Heard. Of course I've heard. Along with the rest of Philadelphia, contra voices piercing, John.
Heavens, my arguments were, goddamn, Franklin, when will they make up their minds? With one hand, they can raise an army, dispatch one of their own to lead it, and cheer the news from Bunker's Hill, while with the other, they wave the olive branch, begging the king for a happy and permanent reconciliation. Why, good God, Franklin, Fat George has declared us in open rebellion. Why in bloody hell can't they?
John, really? Talks of independence were the norm. It's never been done before. No colony has ever broken from the parent stem in the history of the world.
Damn it, Franklin, you make us sound treasonous.
Do I? Treason. Treason is a charge invented by winners as an excuse for hanging the losers.
I have more to do than sit here and listen to you quote yourself.
No, that was a new one.
Damn it, Franklin, we're at war.
To defend ourselves, nothing more. We expressed our displeasure. The English have moved against us, and we in turn have resisted. Now, fellow congressmen want to effect a reconciliation before it becomes a war.
Reconciliation, my ass. The people want independence.
The people have read Mr. Paine's common sense. Not the Congress has. John, why don't you give it up? Nobody listens to you. You're obnoxious and disliked.
I'm not promoting John Adams. I'm promoting independence.
Evidently, they can't have connected the two.
What are you suggesting?
Let someone else propose.
Never! Who did you have in mind?
I don't know. I haven't really given that much thought.
You sent for me, Benjamin! Never! Hello, Johnny!
Richard, John and I need some advice.
Well, if it's mine to give, it's yours. You know that.
Yes, well, as you know, the cause that we support has come to a complete standstill. And what do you suppose that is?
Simple. Johnny here's obnoxious in his life.
Yes, that's true. What's the solution, I wonder?
Get someone else in Congress to propose.
Richard, that's brilliant. Wasn't that brilliant, John?
Brilliant.
Yes, and the next question is, who can that man be? The man we need must belong to a delegation publicly committed to support independence, and at the present time, only Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Delaware have declared our way.
And Virginia, Benji. Don't forget Virginia.
Oh, I haven't, Richard. How could I? But strictly speaking, while Virginia's views on independence are well known, the legislature of Williamsburg has never formally authorized its delegation here in Congress to support the cause. Of course, if we could think of a Virginian with enough influence to go down there and persuade the House of Burgesses.
Damn me if I haven't thought of someone.
Who?
Me.
Why didn't I think of that?
I'll leave tonight. Why, hell, I'll leave right now if you like. I'll stop up at Stratford just long enough to refresh the missus and get straight to the matter. Virginia, that land that gave us our glorious commander-in-chief, George Washington, will now give the continent its proposal on independence. And when Virginia proposes, the South is bound to follow. And where the South goes, the middle colonies goes. Gentlemen, a salute to Virginia, the mother of American independence. Amazing. We're free and he hasn't even left yet. What makes you think you can do it? Ha! My name is Richard Henry Lee. Virginia is my home. My name is Richard Henry Lee. Virginia is my home. And may my horses turn to glue if I can't deliver to you a resolution on independency. For I am FFB, the first family in the sovereign colony of Virginia. Yes, the FFB, the oldest family in the oldest colony in America. And may the British burn my land if I can't deliver to your hands a resolution on independency. You see, it's eerily, verily, and rarely,
Socially, politically, financially, naturally, eternally, externally, fraternally, eternally, the FFB, the first family in the sovereign colony of Virginia.
And may my wife refuse my man if I can't deliver, as I said, a resolution on independence. independency. Spoken modestly, God help us.
Oh, he will, John, he will.
They say that God in heaven is everybody's God. I'll admit that God in heaven is everybody's God. But I tell you, John, with pride, God leans a little on the side of the leaves of old Virginia. Just see it here, Bobby Lee, General Lackles Harry Lee, Willie Lee, Jesse Lee,
Henrich and H.
I know that name. Where do I know that name from? Oh, why, 'cause it's me! And may my blood stop running blue if I can deliver unto you a resolution on independency. Yes, sir, my God is here, verily. Come on, boys, join in with me.
When you leave,
Immediately.
when you return,
Shortly. Dearly, dearly, and then I'll come back triumphantly. Dearly, dearly, everywhere will be a leap
they're warm-blooded people, Virginians.
Not him, Franklin, you. You and your infernal obsession for deviousness. If you'd been straight with him, he'd be gone half an hour ago.
Cheer up, John. The cause is again riding high. Sitting straight in a saddle and a full gallop for Virginia.
And the women are serene. Good God! Full bosom.
Full bosomed.
Why, yes, Benji, full bosomed. Everyone's a queen. Why, 'cause they're Lees, damn it! Lees of old Virginia! You see it here, Lee, there, Lee. Come on, John, step lively. Here, Lee, there, Lee. Everywhere will be a Lee. Here, Lee, there, Lee. Everywhere will be a Lee. Here, Lee, there, Lee. Everywhere will be a Lee.
Delegate from Georgia.
I'm Andrew McNair, Congressional Custodian. If we want anything, just holler out McNair, as you'll hear others do, and there won't be too long to wait.
And where is it that the Georgia delegation belongs?
You know about over in, no, slippery little fellow, aren't you? Over in that corner, near the two Carolinas.
And it is past 10. I was told that Congress would convene at 10.
They'll be wandering in any minute now, with old Grape Nuts leading the pack.
Old who?
McNair! Grape Nuts.
That's me, Mother Rob.
Mr. Hopkins, we're pleased to meet Dr. Lyman Hall.
I don't need a doctor, damn it.
New delegate from Georgia.
Oh, why didn't you say so? I'm Stephen Hopkins, old delegate from Rhode Island. McNair, 2 mugs of rum.
I fear it's a little early in the day for rum.
Nonsense. The medicinal fact that rum gets a man's heart started in the morning. I'm surprised you didn't know it. Speaking as I am the oldest man in Congress.
Miss Franklin's older by almost a year.
Rum! So, Dr. Hall, where do you stand on the question of independence?
With South Carolina, of course.
Dr. Hall, this year is Everett Rutgers from South Carolina. Nettie, this year is Dr. Lyman Hall of Georgia, new delegate.
A pleasure, Dr. Hall.
Your servant, Mr. Rutledge.
You've met the long and short of it. Nettie here is only 26, the youngest of us.
Except for Ben Franklin.
Rum!
You're wrong.
Where'd you go for a man, Jamaica?
Where does Georgia stand on independence at the present time, Dr. Hall?
Well, I've been sent here without instructions, able to vote my own personal convictions.
And they are
Personal.
Dr. Hall, the Deep South speaks with one voice. It is traditional. Even more so, it is historical.
Oh, me 3 pounds of
Enter Delaware, tria, nunca in uno.
Speak plainly out loud. You know I can't follow none of your damn French.
I'm speaking Latin, Colonel McKeon. A tribute to the eternal peace and harmony of the Delaware delegation.
What are you saying, man? You know perfectly well neither Rodney nor I can stand this little word.
Gentlemen. This is Dr. Lyman Hall, new delegate of Georgia. Here we have Caesar Rodney, George Reed, and Colonel Thomas McKeon of Delaware.
Where do you stand on independence, sir?
With South Carolina, it seems.
I leave the doctor in your excellent company, gentlemen.
Tell me, sir, would you be a doctor of medicine or theology?
Both, Mr. Rodney. Which one can be of service?
By all means, the physician first, then we shall see about the other.
Well, I will call at your convenience, sir.
I trust, Caesar, when you're through converting the poor fellow to independency, that you'll give the opposition a fair crack at him.
Oh, too late, John, once I get him them gone. Dr. Lyman Hall, Georgia, Mr. John Dickinson, Pennsylvania.
An honor, sir.
Your servant.
Judge Wilson, forgive me, but how can anyone see you if you insist on standing in Mr. Dickinson's shadow?
Sir, your servant.
Get on my way, please. Good morning, all.
Morning.
Good Lord, the honor of being Dr. Franklin.
Yes, I do have the honor. Fortunately, the Count accompanies the honor.
Been living too high again, eh, Pappy?
Oh, Stephen, I wish King George would like my big toe all over.
McNair, fetch a fellow, and 2 more mugs of rum.
Good morning, John.
Franklin, there's that idiot Lee. I don't see him.
Softly, John. Your voice is hurting my foot.
One more day, Franklin. That's how long I will remain silent, and not a minute longer. That's driving Papa James so damn sure of himself. He's had time to bring back a dozen proposals by now.
Tell me, James, how do you explain this strange, monumental quietude that Congress has been treated to these past 30 days? Has the ill wind of independence finally blown itself out?
Well, in my
For me
opinion-
personally, I must say that a month free of New England noise is more therapeutic than a month in the country. Wouldn't you say so? Mr. Adams, pray look for your voice, sir. It cannot be far, and God knows we need the entertainment in this Congress.
Congratulations, John. You just made your greatest contribution to independence. You kept your mouth shut.
One more day.
Gentlemen, the usual morning festivities concluded. I now call this Congress to order. Mr. Thompson.
The Second Continental Congress meeting in the city of Philadelphia is now in session, 7th June, 1776, the 380th meeting.
Sweet Jesus.
The Honorable John Hancock of Massachusetts Bay, President.
Thank you. McNair, the stores of rum and other drinking spirits are hereby closed to the colony of Rhode Island for 3 days.
Yes, sir.
John, y'all can't do that!
Sit down, Mr. Hopkins. You've abused the privilege. The chair would like to welcome Dr. Lyman Hall of Georgia to this Congress and hopes you'll make the best of it. Crisis time. The secretary will read the roll.
All members present with the following exceptions. Mr. Charles Carroll of Maryland, Mr. Samuel Adams of Massachusetts, Mr. Button Gwinnett of Georgia, Mr. George Wythe and Mr. Richard Henry Lee of Virginia, and the entire delegation of New Jersey.
I'm concerned over the continued absence of 1/13 of this Congress. Where is New Jersey?
Somewhere between New York and Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Dr. Franklin, would you know your son resides there?
Son, sir. What son?
The royal governor of New Jersey, sir.
As the title might suggest, sir, we're not in touch at the present moment.
Yes, very well. The weather report, Mr. Jefferson of Virginia. Mr. Jefferson!
Present, sir.
Would you mind reading the weather as if it were speaking for itself?
87 degrees of temperature, 30.6 inches of mercury, wind from the southwest for the rest of the day, and tonight I leave for home.
On business?
Family business.
Give her a good one for me, young feller.
Yes, sir, I will.
From the Commander, Army of the United Colonies in New York, dispatch number 1137.
Sweet Jesus.
To the Honorable Congress, John Hancock, President. Dear Sir, it is with grave apprehension that I have learned this day of the sailing from Halifax, Nova Scotia, of a considerable force of British troops in the company of foreign mercenaries and under the command of General Sir William Howe.
There can be no doubt that their destination is New York, for to take and hold this city and the Hudson Valley beyond would serve to separate New England from the other colonies, permitting both sections to be crushed in turn. Sadly, I see no way of stopping them at the present time, as my army is absolutely falling apart, my military chest is totally exhausted, my commissary general has strayed his crimson last, my quartermaster has no food, no arms, no ammunition, and my troops are in a state of near mutiny. I pray God some relief arrives before the Armada, but I fear it will not. Your obedient. G. Washington.
Mr. President,
Colonel McKean,
surely we've managed to promote the gloomiest man on this continent to the head of our troops. Those dispatches are the most depressing accumulation of disaster, doom, and despair in the entire annals of military history. And furthermore,
please, it's too hot.
Oh yes, I suppose so.
General Washington will continue wording his dispatches as he sees fit, and I'm sure we all pray he finds happier thoughts to convey in the near future. Mr. Thompson, are there any reports?
Dr. Josiah Bartlett of New Hampshire.
Resolved that for the duration of present hostilities, the Congress discourage every type of extravagance and dissipation, elaborate funerals, and other expensive diversions. Especially all horse racing.
Oh, come on! You have to do that! I'm back, Johnny!
Richard, we're pleased to see ya.
What news, Stinky Boy? What news?
Lee, is it done?
First things first. Tom! Where's Tom? Tom! The little bride wants to know, when's he coming home?
I leave tonight.
Never mind that. Is it done?
Done? Why, certainly! Mr. President, I've returned from Virginia with the following resolutions. Resolved that these united colonies are, and have a right ought to be, free and independent states that are absolved of all allegiance to the British Crown, and that any political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is, and ought to be, totally dissolved.
Mr. President, I second the proposal.
The resolution has been proposed and seconded. The chair will now entertain debate.
Mr. President, Pennsylvania moves that the question of independence be postponed indefinitely.
I second the motion.
Judge Wilson, in your eagerness to be loved, you seem to have forgotten that Pennsylvania cannot second their own motion.
Delaware seconds.
You would, you little weasel.
The motion to postpone has been moved and seconded. Mr. Thompson.
On the motion to postpone indefinitely the vote on independence or proceed with the debate, all those for debate say yea, all those postponement say nay. New Hampshire?
New Hampshire favors the debate and says yay.
New Hampshire says yay. Massachusetts?
Massachusetts, having borne the brunt of the king's tyranny. Massachusetts, for now and all time, says yay.
Massachusetts says yay. Rhode Island? Mr. Hopkins?
Rhode Island is out visiting the necessary.
After what Rhode Island's consumed, I can't say I'm surprised. We'll get back to it, Mrs. Thompson.
Rhode Island passes. Connecticut?
While Connecticut has, till now, been against this proposal, our legislature has instructed me that, in the event it is introduced by any colony outside of New England, Connecticut could no longer withhold its support. Connecticut says yay.
Connecticut says yay. New York?
Mr. Secretary, New York abstains. Courteously.
New York abstains.
Courteously.
New Jersey?
Absent, Mr. Secretary.
My apologies. Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, for the 24th time, says nay.
Pennsylvania says nay. Delaware?
Delaware, as ever for independence, says yay.
Delaware says yay. Maryland?
Maryland would welcome independence if it were given, but is highly skeptical that it may be taken. Maryland says nay.
Maryland says nay. Virginia?
Virginia, the first colony, says yay.
Virginia says yay. North Carolina?
North Carolina respectfully yields to South Carolina.
South Carolina?
Well, Mr. President, although we in South Carolina have never seriously questioned independence, however, when a gentleman like Richard Henry Lee proposes it, attention must be paid. However, we, unlike our friends in New England, have no desire for impatience at the present moment. If at some future day it affects all of our sister colonies to effect separation, then we will not stand in the way. But for now, South Carolina will just wait and watch. Mr. Secretary, the vote is nay.
South Carolina says nay.
North Carolina.
Says nay. Yes, Mr. Hughes, I know. Georgia. Georgia.
Mr. Secretary, Georgia seems to be split right down the middle on this issue. The people are against it, but I am for it. But I am unsure whether representing them means relying on their judgment or my own, and so, in all fairness, until I can figure it out, I'd better lean a little towards their side. Georgia says nay.
Georgia says nay. Rhode Island. Second call, Rhode Island!
I'm coming. Hold your damn horses.
We're waiting on you, Mr. Hopkins.
You think Congress have its own pisser? So tell me where she stands.
5 for debate, 5 for postponement, 1 abstention, and 1 absence.
Well, I'll tell you, in all my years in Congress, I've never seen, nor heard, nor smelled an issue that couldn't be talked about. Hell, yes, I'm pertaining anything. Rhode Island says yay.
McNair, get Hopkins around.
But you said...
Get him the whole damn barrel if you want. The chair now declares this Congress a committee of the whole for the purpose of debating Virginia's resolution on independence. Mr. Dickinson?
Well now, you have your way at last. The matter may now be discussed. Excuse me, Dr. Franklin. I have a question I've been fairly itching to ask you. Why?
Why what, Mr. Dickinson?
Why independence, Mr. Adams?
For the obvious reason that our continued association with Great Britain has grown intolerable.
To whom, Mr. Adams? To you? Then I suggest you sever your ties immediately, but please, be kind enough to leave the rest of us where we are. Personally, I have no objections to being part of the greatest empire on earth, enjoying its protections and sharing its benefits.
Benefits? What benefits? Crippling taxes, cruel repressions, abolished rights?
Is that all England means to you, sir? Is that all the pride and affection you can muster for the nation that bore you? For the noblest, most civilized nation on the face of the planet? Would you have us forsake Hastings and Magna Carta, Strongbow and Lionhearted, Drake and Marlborough, Tudor, Stuarts, Plantagenets? For what, sir? Tell me for what? For you? Some men are patriots, like General Washington. Some are anarchists, like Thomas Paine. Some are even internationalists, like Dr. Franklin. But you, sir, you are merely an agitator, disturbing the peace, creating disorder, and endangering the public welfare. And for what? For your petty little personal complaints? Your taxes are too high. Well, so are mine, sir. So are mine. Come, Mr. Adams. If you have your grievances, which I'm sure you have, our system must have a gentler means readdressing them short of revolution. That's what he wants. Nothing less will satisfy him. Violence, rebellion, treason. Now, are these the acts of Englishmen?
Not Englishmen, Dickinson. Americans.
No, sir. Englishmen.
Please, Mr. Dickinson, we must start begging. How's the man to sleep?
Excuse me, Dr. Franklin, but must you start speaking? How is a man to stay awake? I promise we'll keep quiet, sir. I'm sure everyone prefers you remain asleep.
If I'm to hear myself be called an Englishman, then I assure you I prefer that I rather remain asleep.
What is so wrong with being called an Englishman? The English don't seem to mind.
Nor would I, were I given the full rights of an Englishman. But to call me one without those rights is like calling an ox a bull. He's grateful for the honor, but he'd much rather have resort was rightfully his.
When did you first notice they were missing, sir? Fortunately, the people of these colonies maintain a higher regard for their mother country.
Higher, certainly, than she feels for them. Never was so valuable a possession so stupidly and recklessly managed in this entire continent by the British Crown. Our industry discouraged, our resources pillaged, and worst of all, our very character stifled. We spawned a new race here. Rougher, simpler, more violent, more enterprising, and less refined. We're new nationality, Mr. Dickinson. We require a new nation.
That may be your opinion, Dr. Franklin, but as I said, the people of these colonies feel quite differently.
What do you know about the people, Dickinson? You don't speak for the people. You speak only for yourself. And that precious status quo you keep imploring the people to preserve for their own good is nothing more than the eternal preservation of your own property.
Mr. Adams, you have an annoying talent for making such delightful words as property sound quite distasteful. In heaven's name, what is wrong with property? Have you forgotten that many of us came to these shores in order to secure those rights?
and that we hold those rights no less dear than the rights you speak of.
So safe, so fat, so comfortable, and
And
peaceful.
what is this independence of yours except the private grievance in Boston? Why, even your own cousin, so busy with his seditious acts in Boston, has no time to be here at this Congress. Is a fugitive with a price on his head.
Slowly, Mr. Dickinson. I remind you that the same price that covers Sam Adams also covers me. We are wanted together.
And what did you expect? You two dress up as red savages to commit piracy against His Majesty's ships. An event so embarrassing to your sister colonies that your good friend, Dr. Franklin, offered to pay for all the spilled tea out of his own pocket.
I'm usually able to speak for myself, Mr. Dickinson.
Then tell me this. What good can come from this radicalism and civil disorder? Where can it lead to except mob rule, chaos, and anarchy? And why, in God's name, is it always Boston that has to break the king's peace? My dear Congress, you must not adopt this evil measure, for it is the work of the devil. Leave it where it belongs, in New England.
Brother Dickinson, New England's been fighting the devil for more than 100 years.
And as of now, Brother Sherman, the devil has been winning hands down. Why, he's in this very Congress. Don't let him deceive you. This may bear Virginia's name, but it reeks of Adams, Adams, and more Adams. Look at him, ready to lead this continent down the fiery path of total destruction.
Good God! Why can't you acknowledge what already exists? It's been more than a year since Concord and Lexington. Damn it, man! We're at war, right now!
You may be at war, John Adams and Boston, but you do not speak for Pennsylvania.
Nor for Delaware. Mr. Reed, you represent only 1/3 of Delaware.
The sensible third, Mr. Rodney.
Sit down, you little roach, before I knock you down.
Sit down, all three of you. McNair, do something about these damn flies.
Fetch me a mug of rum.
The flies first.
I've only got 2 hands.
Gentlemen, please do go on. You're creating the only breeze in Philadelphia.
Pardon me. Perhaps you could clear something up for me, Mr. Adams. After we have achieved independence, who do you propose will govern the people of South Carolina?
The people, of course.
Which people, sir? The people of South Carolina? Or the people of Massachusetts?
Why don't you admit it, Nettie? You're against independence and you always will be.
Aye. You refuse to understand this, gentlemen. We desire independence, yes. But for South Carolina, that is our country. And as such, we don't wish for it to belong to anybody. Not to England, and not to any of you.
We intend to be one nation, Rutledge.
A nation of sovereign states, Mr. Adams, united for our mutual protection, yet separate for our individual pursuits. That is what we have understood it to be, and that is what we will support as soon as everyone supports it. Ugh. Ugh.
There you are, Mr. Adams. You must see that we need time in order to make certain of who we are and where we stand in regard to one another. For if we do not determine the nature of the beast before we set it free, it can end by consuming us all.
For once in your life, we'll say, take a chance. I say the time is now. It may never come again.
Your clock is fast, Mr. Adams. I say we are not yet ripe for independence.
All right, hell, we're riding for the one of it.
Gentlemen, please, what in God's name is this infernal hurry? Why must we settle this question now?
What's wrong with now, Mr. Chick?
General Washington is in the field. If he's defeated, as it now appears, we'll be inviting the hangman. If by some miracle he should actually win, we can declare anything we damn please.
The sentiments of North Carolina precisely.
Has it ever occurred to either of you that in order for an army to win, they need something to fight for? A cause, a purpose, a flag of its own.
Mr. Adams, how can a nation of only 2 million souls defeat an empire of 10 million? Think of it, 10 million! How must we compensate for that shortage?
It's simple, Mr. Chase. Increase and multiply.
How's that?
Well, when a mail
We will more than compensate with spirit. I say there's a spirit out there with the people that is sorely lacking in this Congress. Yes, of course, spirit! Why didn't I think of that? We have no army, no navy, no arms, no ammunition, no friends, no treasury. But bless our soul, we have spirit. Mr. Lee, Mr. Rodney, Colonel McKean, Dr. Franklin, why do you side with this incendiary little man? This Boston radical, this agitator, this demagogue, this madman. You calling me a madman? You fribble?
Easy, John, easy.
You and your Pennsylvania proprietors, you cool, considerate men, you keep to the rear of every issue so that if we go under, you still remain afloat.
Are you calling me a coward?
Yes, coward.
Madman, landlord, lawyer.
Stop it! This is a Congress, I say! The enemy's out there!
No, Mr. Rodney, the enemy is here.
No! No, it's out there! England! England closing and cutting off our air! There's no time! There's no air!
Thomas, Caesar? Caesar! Dr. Hall! King, aye, as the Counselor, he should go home.
Yes, and man shall die in his own bed. Adams. John,
I'm here, Caesar.
I leave you to fly to Delaware. Forgive me.
Take your leave, Caesar. I'll be back within the week.
Mr. President, South Carolina calls the question.
What's that?
I said, South Carolina desires to end the debate and call the question on independence.
Delaware seconds.
The question has been called and seconded. Mr. Thompson.
Franklin, do something. Think.
I'm thinking, but nothing's coming out.
All those in favor of the resolution on independence as proposed by the colony of Virginia signify by saying,
Mr. Secretary, will you please read the resolution again? I've forgotten it.
resolved that these united colonies are and of a right ought to be free and independent.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. I'm the Reverend John Witherspoon, new delegate of New Jersey.
Dr. Franklin, I regret I must be the bearer of unhappy tidings, but your son,
The Royal Governor of New Jersey is taken prisoner and has been moved under guard to the colony of Connecticut for safekeeping.
Is he unharmed, sir?
When last I heard, he was, yes, sir.
Why the long face? I hear Connecticut's an excellent location. Where the rest of the bastard?
New Jersey has recalled the old delegation to this Congress and has sent a new one.
Well, quickly, man, where do you stand on independence?
Haven't I made myself clear? I suppose I haven't. But that was the reason for the change. We've been instructed to vote for independence.
Woo! Mr. President, Massachusetts is now ready for the vote on independence and reminds the chair of its privilege to decide on all votes that are deadlocked.
I won't forget, Mr. Adams. The chair would like to welcome Reverend Witherspoon and appoint him congressional chaplain if he will accept the post.
With much pleasure, sir.
Very well. Mr. Thompson, you may now proceed with the vote on independence.
All those in favor of the resolution on independence as proposed by the...
Mr. President, Pennsylvania moves that any question of independence must be unanimous.
What?
I second the motion.
Judge Wilson.
Oh my God.
Delaware seconds.
No votes ever had to be unanimous, Dickinson, and you know it.
Yes, but this one must be.
On what grounds?
That no colony be torn from their own mother country without their own consent.
But it'll never be unanimous, damn it.
If you say so, Mr. Adams.
It has been moved and seconded that the vote on independence must be unanimous in order to carry. All those in favor signify by saying yea.
Yay!
6 colonies say yea. All those opposed signify by saying nay.
Nay.
6 colonies say nay.
Secretary of New York abstains. Courteously.
Mr. Morris, why does New York constantly abstain? Why doesn't New York simply stay in New York? Very well, the vote is tied. The principles of independence have no greater advocate in its Congress and its president, and that is why I must join those who vote for unanimity.
John, what are you doing? You've sunk us.
Hear me out. Can't you see that any colony who opposes independence will be forced to fight on the side of England? That will be setting brother against brother. That our new nation will carry its emblem, the mark of Cain. I see no other way. Either we walk together, or together we must stand where we are.
A unanimous vote being necessary to carry, if any be opposed to the resolution on independence as proposed by the colony of Virginia, signify by saying,
Mr. President!
Oh, for heaven's sake, let me just get through it once!
I move for a postponement. I wish you the luck I had with it.
Mr. Adams is right. We need a postponement.
On what grounds?
What ground?
Mr. President, how can we vote for independence without a written declaration of some sort defining it?
What sort of declaration?
Well, you know, one that lays out our goals and aims and so on and so forth. Ditto, etc., etc.
We know those, don't we?
Well, yes, good God, we know them, but what about the rest of the world? Certainly we require the aid of a powerful nation such as France or Spain, and such a declaration would be consistent with European delicacy.
Come on now, Mr. Adams, you'll have to do better than that. Answer straight. What would be its purpose?
Yes. Well,
to place before mankind the common sense of the subject in terms so plain and firm as to command their assent.
Mr. Jefferson, you are not seriously suggesting that we publish a paper to the entire world that an illegal rebellion is in fact a legal one?
Why, Mr. Dickinson, I'm surprised at you. You should know that a rebellion is always legal in the first person, our rebellion. It's only the third person, their rebellion, that is illegal. Mr. President, I second the motion to postpone the vote on independence for a period of time sufficient for the writing of a declaration.
Mr. Thompson?
All those in favor of the motion to postpone signify by saying yea.
Yay.
6 colonies say yea. Against?
Nay.
6 colonies say nay.
New York abstains. Courteously.
Mr. Morse, what in hell goes on in New York?
I'm sorry, Mr. President, but the simple truth is that our legislature has not sent us any specific instructions on anything.
Never, that's impossible.
Have you been present at a meeting of the New York legislature? They speak very fast and very loud, and nobody ever pays any attention to anybody else, with the result that nothing ever gets done. I beg the Congress's pardon.
My sympathies, Mr. Morse. The vote again being tied, the chair decides in favor of the postponement. So ruled. A committee will now be formed to manage the declaration. Said document to be written, debated, and approved by the beginning of July, 3 weeks hence, at which time Virginia's resolution on independence will finally be voted on. Is that clear?
Yes.
Very well. Will the following gentlemen please serve on the committee? Dr. Benjamin Franklin, Mr. John Adams, Mr. Sherman, Mr. Livingston, and of course, Mr. Lee.
Excuse me, but I must be returning to the sovereign country of Virginia, as I've been asked to serve as governor. Therefore, I must decline respectfully.
Very well. You're excused, Mr. Lee. I suppose this can be left to a four-man committee.
Just a moment, Mr. President. This business needs a Virginian. Therefore, I propose a replacement. Mr. Thomas Jefferson.
What? No, Mr. Adams, no.
Very well. Mr. Jefferson will serve.
I'm going home too, to my wife.
Move to adjourn.
But wait, it's been 6 months since I've seen her.
Moved and seconded. Any objections?
Yes, I have objections. I have lots of objections.
So ruled. Congress stands adjourned.
All right, gentlemen. Who is going to write our Declaration of Independence?
Mr. Adams, I say you should write it. To your legal-minded brilliance we defer.
Is that so? Well, if I'm the one to do it, they'll run their quill pens through it. I'm obnoxious and disliked, you know that, sir.
Yes, I do.
So I say you should write it, Franklin. Yes, you.
Hell no.
Yes, you, Dr. Franklin. You might.
Mr. Adams, but Mr. Adams, the things I write are only like extemporanea. I will put politics on paper, it's a mania. So I refuse to use the pen in Pennsylvania. Refuse to use the pen.
Mr. Sherman, I say controversial, as it were.
That is true.
Whereas if I'm the one to do it, they'll run their quill pens through it. I'm obnoxious and disliked, you know that, sir.
Yes, I do.
So I say you should write it, Roger. Yes, you.
Good heavens, no.
Yes, you, Roger Sherman. You.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
That's no problem.
Mr. Adams, but Mr. Adams, I cannot write with any style or proper etiquette. I don't know a participle from a predicate, for I am just a simple cobbler from Connecticut. Connecticut, Connecticut, a simple cobbler he.
Mr. Livingston, maybe you should write it. You have many friends and you're a diplomat.
Oh, that would.
Whereas if I'm the one to do it, they'll run their quill pens through it.
He's obnoxious and disliked, did you know that? I hadn't heard.
So I say you should write it, Robert. Yes, you.
Not me, John.
Yes, you, Robert Livingston. You.
But Mr. Adams, dear Mr. Adams, I've been presented with a new son by the noble stork, and I am going home to celebrate and pop a cork with all the Livingstons together back in old New York. New York, New York, Livingston's going to pop a cork.
Mr. Adams, leave me alone.
Mr. Jefferson.
Mr. Adams, I have not seen my wife for the past 6 months. I beg of you, Mr.
And
Adams.
we solemnly declare that we will preserve our liberties, being with one mind, resolved to die free men rather than to live as slaves. Thomas Jefferson on the necessity of taking up arms, 1775. Magnificent! You write better than any man in Congress, including me. For a man of only 33 years, you have a happy talent of composition and a remarkable felicity of expression. Now then, sir, will you be a patriot or a lover?
A lover!
No!
But I burn Mr. A!
So do I, Mr. J.
You do, John? Who'd have thought?
Mr. Jefferson, dear Mr. Jefferson, I'm only 41, I still have my virility, and I can romp through Cupid's grove with great agility. But life is more than sexual combustibility. Now you'll write it, Mr. J.
Who will make me, Mr. A?
I.
You.
Yes.
How?
By physical force, if necessary. It's your duty, damn it. Your duty.
Mr. Adams, damn you, Mr. Adams. You're obnoxious and disliked, that cannot be denied. Once again you stand between me and my lovely bride. Lovely bride. Oh, Mr. Adams, you are driving me to homicide. Homicide! Homicide!
Quiet! The choice is yours, Mr. J. Do with it as you like.
damn the man. God damn the man.
You've had a whole week. Is it done? Can I see it? There comes a time in the lives of men in which we must advance from that subordination in which we have hitherto remained. This is terrible. Where's the rest of it? You mean to say it's not finished?
No, sir, I mean to say it's not yet begun.
Good God! A whole year! A week! The entire Earth was created in a week!
Someday you must tell me how you did it.
Disgusting! Look at him, Franklin, Virginia's most famous lover.
Virginia abstains.
Sure, Franklin, get out of the dumps. It'll come out right, I promise you. Now get back to work. Franklin, tell him to get back to work.
He's asleep.
Hello, madam. Whose little girl are you? John, who is she?
His wife, I hope.
What makes you think so?
Because I sent for her.
You what?
It simply occurred to me that the sooner his problem is solved, the sooner our problem is solved.
Good thinking, John, good thinking.
Madam, may I introduce myself? John Adams. Adams. John Adams. And Dr. Franklin, inventor of the stone. Jefferson, would you please introduce me to your wife? She is your wife, isn't she?
Of course she is. Just look how they fit. Come on, John, come along.
Come along where? There's work to be done.
Obviously.
Wait, you mean they're going to... in the middle of the afternoon?
Not everyone's from Boston, John.
Incredible.
Well, good night, John.
Have you eaten, Franklin?
Not yet, but...
I hear the turkey's fresh. A bunch of grapes?
I have a rendezvous, John.
Oh.
I actually long, but talking makes you nervous.
Yes, of course.
Good night, John.
Good night. Oh, Abigail, I'm, very lonely. Abigail.
Are you, John? But as long as you were sending for wives, why didn't you send for your own?
Don't be unreasonable, Abigail.
Now I'm unreasonable. You must add that to your list.
List?
The catalog of my faults you included in your last letter.
Those were fondly intended, madam.
That I play at cards badly.
A compliment.
That my posture is crooked.
An endearment.
That I read, write, and think too much.
An irony.
That I'm pigeon-toed.
Well, there you have me, Abigail. I'm afraid you are pigeon-toed. Come to Philadelphia, Abigail. Please come.
Thank you, John. I do want to, but you know it's not possible now. The children have the measles.
Yes, so you wrote. Tom, little Abby.
Only now it's Quincy and Charles. And it appears the farm here in Braintree is failing, John. The chickens and the geese have all died, and the apples never survived the late frost. How do you suppose she managed to get away?
Winters are softer, Virginia.
And their women, John?
Fit for Virginians, madam, but pale, puny things in comparison to New England girls.
John, I thank you for that.
So how goes it with you, Abigail?
Not well, John. Not at all well. I lived like a nun in a cloister, solitary celibate. I hate it. And you, John?
I live like a monk in an abbey. Ditto, ditto. I hate it.
Write to me with sentimental effusion.
vanilla and spring air. And is my favorite lover's pillow still firm and fair?
What was there, John? Still is there, John? Come soon as you can to my cloister. I've forgotten the feel of your hand.
Soon, madam, we shall walk in Cupid's grove together. Lovely survey that promised land. Till then, as I ever was and ever shall be. Yours, Saltpeter John.
Sorry I was late, John. I was up till all hours. Have you been here long?
Not long.
And why are you out here? I assumed you'd be up there cracking the whip.
The shutters are still closed.
My word, so they are. Well, how's the French snap?
Spare me your body mind first thing in the morning, Franklin. Dare we call?
Congressman, there's anything. Go ahead.
Me?
Your voice is more piercing.
This is positively indecent.
Oh, John, they're young and in love.
Not them, Franklin. Us.
Us?
Us standing out here, waiting for them to... I mean, what will people think?
Oh, don't worry. The history books will clean it all up.
Doesn't matter anyway. I won't be in the history books, only you. Franklin did this, Franklin did that, Franklin did some other damn thing. Franklin smote the ground and out sprung George Washington, fully grown and on his horse. Then Franklin electrified him with his miraculous lightning rod. Then the three of them, Franklin, Washington, and the horse, conducted the entire revolution by themselves.
John, I like that. Look at her, John. Just look at her.
I am.
She's even more magnificent than I remember. Of course, we didn't see much of her front last night. Good morrow, madame.
Good morrow.
Is it the habit in Philadelphia for strangers to shadow ladies from the street?
It is, but we're
And
not.
for men of your age, it is not only unseemly, it's unsightly.
Excuse me, madam, but we met last evening.
I spoke to no one last evening.
Indeed, you did not, but nevertheless, we presented ourselves. This is Mr. John Adams, and I am Dr. Franklin, inventor of the stove.
Please, I know your names very well, but you say you presented yourselves.
Oh, it's no concern. Your thoughts will all take it elsewhere.
My husband is not yet up.
Shall we start over? Please join us, madame.
Yes, of course.
Now, one of the man couldn't right. Don't think of independence meant to her.
I beg you to forgive me. It is truly a great time getting to know you. My husband admires you both greatly.
And we are both doubly flattered, for we admire very much that which your husband admires.
Did you sleep well, madam? Did you lie comfortably? You know what I mean.
Yes, we do, John. Please tell us about yourself, madame. Very precious little information. What's your first name?
Martha.
Ah, Martha. Could have at least told us that much. I'm afraid your husband doesn't speak very often.
He's the most silent man in Congress. I've never heard him utter 3 words together.
Not everyone's a talker, John.
It's true, you know. Tom is not a talker. Oh, he never speaks his passions. He never speaks his views. Whereas other men speak for you, the man I love is mute. In truth, I can't recall being ruled with words at all. Even I man of many accomplishments. Farmer, author, lawyer, architect, statesman, and still one that I hesitate to mention.
Well, don't hesitate, madam. Guess what else can a redheaded tombstone do?
He plays the violin. He tucks it right under his chin. And he bows, oh he bows, for he knows, yes he knows, for it was high, 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 diddle, diddle, twixt my heart, told in his fiddle, my strings are unstrung. High, 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 I'm always undone. Here's my violin, and I get that feeling within, and I sigh, oh I sigh, he draws near, very near, for it was high, 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 and goodbye to the fiddle, my strings are unstrung. High, 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 I'm always undone.
That settles it, John. We're taking up the violin.
All right, madam, you've got us taking up the violin. What next?
Next, Mr. Adams.
What does Tom do next?
Why, just what you'd expect. We dance.
Dance?
Incredible.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
John, you can dance.
You still do some things in Boston, Franklin.
Say I die, loving bride, loving wife, loving life, for it was high, 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 twixt my heart, time is gone, where will we?
Franklin, look! He's done it! Dear Mr. Adams, I am taking my wife to bed. Kindly go away. Your obedient. T. Jefferson.
Perhaps I'm the one who should have read the Declaration after all. At my age, there's little doubt that the pen is mightier than the sword. For it was high, 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 diddle, diddle. God bless the man who can fiddle.
An independency. High, 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 high. Ya-da-da-da-da. Through eternity.
I knew it. will play our part a charming little form of government for a variety of disorder. You never knew player I've been to Philadelphia.
McNair, open the window.
Bid! I've gone through some cards that I have to save everyone a whole lot of time and effort considering the epidemic of bad disposition that's been going around lately. Dear sir, you're without any doubt a rogue, a rascal, a villain, a thief, a scoundrel, and a mean, dirty, stinking, sniveling, sneaking, pimping, pocket-pimping, thrice double damn no good son of a bitch. Signing in there, signing in there.
Stephen, I'll take a dozen right away.
A committee formed to answer all congressional correspondence designated as the Congressional Correspondence Committee.
All right, Franklin, enough socializing. Time to get to work.
Good morning, John.
What? Oh, yes. All right, let's get to it.
Let's get to what?
Unanimity, of course. Look at the board. 6 nays to be won over in a little more than a week.
A committee formed to consider the problem of counterfeit money designated as the Counterfeit Money Committee.
All right, where do we start?
How about Delaware? It's sad to see her on the wrong side of things after all this time. Any news of Caesar?
McCain's back.
Thomas!
A committee formed to study the causes of our military defeat in Canada, designated as the Military Defeat Committee.
How'd you leave Caesar? Is he alive?
Aye, but the journey to Dover was fearful hard on him. I could see the poor man on the sofa, although he never complained.
At least you got home safely.
Aye, but I'll never step foot out of it again.
Leaves you and Reed split down the middle. Any chance he'll come over?
I don't know. He's a stubborn little snot.
Then work at him. Keep at him till you wear him down.
Face facts, will ya? If it were just Reed standing in our way, it wouldn't be so bad. But Maryland, Pennsylvania, and the entire South, it's impossible.
It's impossible if we stand around doing nothing. Keep at him, McKean, one foot in front of the other.
I believe I put it a better way. Never put off till tomorrow. That's what you can do.
Shut up, Franklin.
John, what good would you? You know Dickinson will never give in, and you haven't heard the last of Rutledge yet either.
You don't worry about them, just worry about Reed.
There's a simpler way. This'll break the tie.
All right, John, who's next?
A committee formed to keep secrets designated as the Secrets Committee.
Pennsylvania and Maryland. I suggest you get your own house in order while I take a crack at old Snake Eyes. Mr. Chase, when are you coming to your senses?
Mr. Adams, not while I'm winning.
Mr. Wilson, it's time to research yourself. Well, you were a judge. How in the hell did you ever make a decision?
Well, all the decisions I made were based on legality and precedence. And in this case, there is no legality and certainly no precedent.
Because it's a new idea you caught. We'll be setting our own precedent.
No, Mr. McKean. No.
Your eyes, Reed. You came into this world screaming no, and you're determined to leave it the same way.
The Congress is waiting on you, Chase. America's waiting. The whole world is waiting. Is this your card?
Leave me alone, Mr. Adams. If I thought we could win this war, I'd be at the front of your ranks. But you must know it's impossible. You've heard General Washington's dispatches. His army's falling apart.
General Washington is exaggerating the situation in order to arouse this torpid Congress into action. Why, as chairman of the War Committee, I can tell you for a fact that never has an army been in better shape. Never have troops been more resolute. Never has training... Oh, dear God.
May we have your ears, gentlemen. Mr. Thompson has a dispatch.
From the Commander, Army of the United Colonies in New York, dispatch number 1157. To the Honorable Congress, John Hancock, President. Dear Sir, it is with the utmost despair that I must report to you the confusion and disorder that reign in every department.
Sweet Jesus.
The Continental soldier is as nothing ever seen in this or any other century. He is a misfit, ignorant of hygiene, disruptive, disorderly, and totally disrespectful of rank. Only this last part is understandable as there is an incredible week of stupidity amongst the officers. The situation is most desperate at the New Jersey training ground in New Brunswick, where every able-bodied whore in the colonies is assembled. There are constant reports of drunkenness, desertion, foul language, naked bathing in the Raritan River, and an epidemic of the French disease. I have declared the town off limits to all military personnel with the exception of officers. I beseech the Congress to dispatch the War Committee to this place in the hope of restoring some of the order and discipline we need to survive. Your obedient, G. Washington.
That man would depress a hyena.
Well, Mr. Adams, you're chairman of the War Committee. Do you feel up to whoring, drinking, deserting in New Brunswick?
There must be some mistake. I've got an aunt in New Brunswick.
Tell her to keep up the good work. Come, Mr. Adams, you must see that this is hopeless. Let us recall General Washington and disband the Continental Army before we are overwhelmed.
Oh yes, the English would love that, wouldn't they?
Why don't you ask them yourself? They ought to be here any minute.
And when they hang you, Mr. Adams, I hope that you will put in a good word for the rest of us.
Face facts, Mr. Adams. A handful of drunk and disorderly recruits against the entire British Army, the finest musketmen on earth. How can we win? How can we even hope to survive?
Give it to me straight, Chase. If you thought we could beat the Redcoats, would you say yay to independence?
Well, very well. Yes, I suppose.
No supposing. Would you say yay?
Very well.
Then come with me to New Brunswick and see for yourself.
John, are you mad?
You heard what Washington said. It's in shambles.
Well, Chase?
Go ahead, Sam. It sounds lively as hell up there.
All right, why not? Maybe it'll be John Adams who comes to his senses.
Mr. President, the War Committee will heed General Washington's request. A party consisting of myself, Samuel Chase, and Dr. Franklin will head out immediately.
Is that satisfactory with you, Dr. Franklin?
Wake up, Franklin, you're going to New Brunswick.
Like how I am what for? The order to drink. Why did you say so?
Come on, Chase, one foot in front of the other. Left, right, left, right, left.
Mr. McNair, all this talk of independence has left a certain foulness in the air. My friends and I would appreciate it if you would open some windows.
But what about the fly?
Mr. McNair, the windows. Oh, say, do you see what I see? Congress sitting here in sweet serenity. I could cheer, the reason's clear. For the first time in a year, Adams isn't here. And look, the sun is in the sky, a breeze is blowing by, and there's not a single fly. I sing Hosanna, 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 and it's cool. Come ye cool, cool, conservative men, our like may never ever be seen again. We have learned, cash in hand, self-command, future planned, fortune thrives, society survives, in neatly ordered lives, with well-endowed wives. Come sing Hosanna, Hosanna, in our breeding and our manner, we are cool. Come ye cool, cool, consider it set. We'll dance together to the same minuet. To the right, ever to the right, never to the left, forever to the right. Let our creed be never to exceed regulated speed, no matter what the need. Come sing Hosanna, Hosanna, emblazoned on our banner is keep cool.
Commander, Army of the United Colonies in New York, dispatch number 1158, to the Honorable Congress, John Hancock, President. Dear Sir, I woke this morning to find that General Howe has landed 25,000 British regulars and Hussar mercenaries on Staten Island, and that the fleet, under the command of his brother, Admiral Lord Howe, controls not only the Hudson and East Rivers, but New York Harbor, which now looks like all of London afloat. I can no longer, in good conscience, withhold from the Congress my certainty that the British military object at this time is Philadelphia. Happy should I be if I could see the means of preventing them, but at present time I confess I do not. Oh, how I wish I had never seen the Continental Army. I would have done better to retire to the backcountry and live in a wigwam. Your obedient. G. Washington.
What we do rationally. We never ever go off half-cocked, not we. Why begin till we know that we can win? And if we cannot win, why bother to begin?
They say this game's not of our choosing. Why should we risk losing?
We cool men. Mr. Hancock, you're a man of property, one of us. Why don't you join us in our minuet? Why do you persist with dancing with John Adams? Good Lord, sir, you don't even like the fellow.
That is true. He annoys me quite a lot, but still I'd rather trot to Mr. Adams to go on.
But why, sir? For personal glory? For a place in history? Be careful, sir. History will brand him and his followers as traitors.
Traitors to what, Mr. Dickinson? The British crown or the British half-crown? Fortunately, there are not enough men of property in America to dictate policy.
Perhaps not. But don't forget that most men with nothing would rather protect the possibility of becoming rich than face the reality of being poor. And that is why they will follow us. To the right, ever to the right, never to the left, forever to the right. Where there's gold, a market that will hold, tradition that is old, reluctance to be bold. I sing Hosanna, Hosanna, El Saint and Lucen banner. We are cool, we're the cool, considerate men, whose life may never ever be seen again. With our land, cash in hand, self-command, future plan, and we'll hold to our goal, tradition that is old, reluctance to be bold. They say this game's not of our choosing. Why should we risk losing?
We cool.
How do you like to try and borrow $1 from one of you? Want another rum, General?
General? Lord, I even a corporal.
Yeah, well, what does the Army know? Sit down, gentlemen. The chair rules it's too damn hot to work. So, what's it like out there, General?
You probably know more than me.
Sitting in here? This is the last place to find out what's going on.
I'm even join up.
What are you talking about? You don't have to join up. You're in the Congress.
What's that got to do with anything?
We don't see them rushing off to get killed, do ya? But they sure are great ones for sitting others, I'll tell you that.
Who sits here?
Caesar Army of Delaware. Where are you from, General?
Watertown.
Where's that?
Massachusetts.
Well, then you belong down there. But be careful. There's nothing up that chair that makes a man awfully noisy.
So, you see them fighting?
Sure did. Well, I see my two best friends get shot dead on the very same day. Right on the village green it was, too. And when they didn't come home for supper, the mamas went down the hill looking for them. Miss Lowe, she found Timothy right off. Miss Pickett, she looked near half the night for him because he gone and crawled up the green before he died.
Mama, hey mama, come looking for me. I'm here in the meadow by the red maple tree. Mama, hey mama, look sharp, here I be. Hey, eyes, my Billy, them eyes that cannot see, and I'll bury you, my Billy, beneath the maple tree, and never again will you whisper to me, hey, hey, oh mama, look sharp.
I'm gonna go see this tomorrow night anyway, so why? I got to take my grandparents to it. Grandparents actually.